A sister's desperate quest. Elara stood at the edge of the ancient forest. Her heart raced with worry for her brother Finn. He was very sick. No one in the village could help him. Elara knew she had to do something. She had heard stories of a magical cure deep in the woods. It was her only hope. The trees loomed tall and dark before her. Elara took a deep breath. She was scared, but her love for Finn was stronger than her fear. She stepped into the shadows of the forest. The leaves crunched under her feet. Strange sounds echoed all around her. Elara pushed through thick bushes and climbed over fallen logs. She didn't know where she was going, but she felt something pulling her forward. It was like a whisper on the wind, a soft light that only she could see. Elara followed it deeper into the heart of the forest. As night fell, the forest grew even darker. Elara made a small camp. She curled up under a big tree. The stars peeked through the branches above. Elara thought of Finn back home. She whispered a promise to the night sky. She would find the cure no matter what. Morning came and Elara set off again. The forest seemed to change around her. The trees grew older and taller. Vines twisted everywhere. Elara felt like she was walking into another world. Then she saw something through the trees. It was made of stone. Elara pushed through a curtain of vines. She gasped at what she saw. A huge temple stood before her. It was very old. Parts of it were broken, but it was still beautiful. Elara had never seen anything like it. She knew this must be the place from the stories. The temple doors were covered in strange symbols. Elara touched them gently. To her surprise, they swung open with a loud creak. Inside, it was dark and dusty. Elara's footsteps echoed in the silence. She felt both excited and scared. What secrets did this place hold? As Elara explored, she found many empty rooms, but there was one room that was different. It was at the very heart of the temple. A soft, warm light glowed from inside. Elara's heart beat faster. She knew she was close to something important. She took a deep breath and stepped inside. The room was circular and high-ceilinged. In the center stood a stone pedestal. On it lay a single feather. It glowed with a soft golden light. Elara knew at once that this was no ordinary feather. It seemed to pulse with magic and life. This had to be the legendary feather of the phoenix. Elara had heard stories about the phoenix all her life. It was a magical bird of fire. It could die and be reborn from its own ashes. The phoenix was a symbol of hope and renewal. Its feathers were said to have great healing powers. Elara's heart leaped. Could this be the cure for Finn? As Elara stepped closer, she noticed writing on the walls. It told the story of the phoenix. Long ago, the phoenix had given one of its feathers to help people. But over time, people forgot about the phoenix. They stopped believing in magic. The phoenix retreated to this hidden temple. It waited for someone worthy to find its feather again. Elara reached out to touch the feather. But as her fingers got close, she hesitated. The stories said there was a price to pay for the phoenix's power. What would she have to give up? Elara thought of Finn, sick and weak back home. She knew she would do anything to save him. With determination, she grasped the feather. As soon as Elara touched the feather, the room filled with brilliant light. She had to shield her eyes. When she looked again, she gasped. A magnificent bird stood before her. It was as tall as she was. Its feathers were red and gold, shimmering like flames. This was the phoenix itself. The phoenix's eyes were kind but ancient. It spoke to Elara, not with words, but in her mind. It asked why she had come. Elara told the phoenix about Finn. She explained how desperate she was to save him. The phoenix listened carefully to her story. Its eyes seemed to look right into Elara's heart. The phoenix told Elara that it could indeed save Finn, but there was a catch. The power to heal came at a great cost. Elara would have to give up something very important to her. The phoenix explained that true magic always requires sacrifice. It asked Elara if she was willing to pay the price. Elara didn't hesitate. She said she would give anything to save her brother. The phoenix seemed pleased by her answer. It told Elara that her love and bravery were exactly what it had been waiting for. The phoenix said it would grant her its power. But first, Elara had to prove herself worthy. Section 5. The Power of Sacrifice. The phoenix explained the test to Elara. She would have to step into its flames. If her heart was truly pure, she would not be harmed. But if there was any doubt or selfishness in her, she would be burned. Elara was scared. The flames looked very hot and dangerous, but she thought of Finn and found her courage. Elara took a deep breath and stepped forward. The phoenix burst into flames around her. At first, it was very hot. Elara wanted to run away, but she stood her ground. She focused on her love for Finn. Slowly, the heat faded. The flames didn't hurt her at all. They felt warm and comforting. As Elara stood in the fire, she felt something changing inside her. All her fears and doubts burned away. She felt stronger and braver than ever before. The phoenix's voice spoke in her mind again. It told her she had passed the test. Elara had proven her love and willingness to sacrifice for others. The flames died down, and Elara found herself face to face with the phoenix again. But now, she saw it differently. She understood its power and wisdom. The phoenix told Elara that she was ready to receive its gift. But there was one last thing she needed to know. The price for saving Finn would be high. Elara would have to give up her old life forever. She would become something new, just like the phoenix itself. Section 6. A Fiery Transformation. Elara thought hard about the phoenix's words. She would miss her old life, but she knew saving Finn was more important. She told the phoenix she was ready. The magical bird nodded. It spread its wings wide. Then it burst into flames once more, but this time the flames engulfed Elara too. At first, Elara was scared. The fire was all around her, but it didn't hurt. Instead, she felt warm and safe. She closed her eyes. She could feel herself changing. It was like she was becoming part of the fire itself. When Elara opened her eyes again, she gasped. Her whole body was glowing like the phoenix. The phoenix explained what had happened. It had shared its power with Elara. She was now part phoenix herself. She could heal others with her touch. She could even transform into a fiery bird, just like the phoenix. But with this great power came great responsibility. Elara would have to use her gifts wisely. Elara felt overwhelmed but excited. She couldn't wait to help Finn, but she also knew her life would never be the same. The phoenix reminded her of one last thing. Like the magical bird, Elara would now live for a very long time. She would watch over her village for many years to come. Elara nodded, understanding the weight of her new role. Section 7. Return to the village. With her new powers, Elara could fly back to her village. She transformed into a beautiful bird of fire. It felt strange at first, but soon she was soaring through the sky. The forest that had seemed so big before now looked small beneath her. Elara's heart raced with excitement. She couldn't wait to see Finn. As Elara approached her village, she changed back into her human form, but she still glowed with a soft golden light. People stared as she walked through the streets. They had never seen anything like her before. Some were scared, others were amazed. Elara tried to reassure them with kind words and smiles. Elara hurried to her family's house. Her parents were shocked when they saw her. She looked so different now. Elara quickly explained what had happened. She told them about the phoenix and her transformation. At first, they didn't believe her. But when they saw the golden glow around her, they knew it was true. Finn was lying in bed, very weak. When Elara entered his room, his eyes widened in surprise. He barely recognized his sister, but he could feel the warmth and love radiating from her. Elara sat beside him and took his hand. She closed her eyes and focused on her new healing powers. She poured all her love for Finn into her touch. Section 8. Finn's Miraculous Recovery. A soft golden light spread from Elara's hands to Finn's body. It flowed through him like warm sunshine. Finn gasped as he felt the change. Color returned to his pale cheeks. His breathing became easier. The pain that had troubled him for so long melted away. In just a few moments, Finn was completely healed. Finn sat up in bed amazed. He felt better than he had in years. He hugged Elara tightly, thanking her over and over. Their parents cried tears of joy. They couldn't believe the miracle they had just witnessed. News of Finn's recovery spread quickly through the village. Soon a crowd gathered outside their house. People wanted to know how Finn had been cured. Elara stepped outside to explain. She told them about her journey to the forest. She described the phoenix and how it had given her its power. Some people were scared of her new abilities, but most were filled with hope. They had never seen such magic before. As Elara spoke, her glow seemed to spread to others. People felt warmer and happier just being near her. Those who were sick or injured found their pain easing. Elara realized that her healing powers could help more than just Finn. She knew then that she had a big job ahead of her. She would use her gift to help everyone she could. Section 9. Elara's new role. In the days that followed, Elara's life changed completely. People came from all over seeking her help. She healed the sick and comforted the sad. Her touch could mend broken bones and cure diseases. But more than that, Elara brought hope to people who had none. Her kindness and compassion touched everyone she met. Elara worked tirelessly to help her village. She taught others about the phoenix and its message of renewal. She showed people how to be kinder to each other. She encouraged them to believe in magic and miracles again. Slowly but surely, the whole village began to change. It became a happier, more caring place. As time passed, Elara noticed she wasn't getting older like everyone else. The phoenix had said she would live for a very long time. At first, this made Elara sad. She would outlive her family and friends, but she came to see it as a gift. She could watch over the village for many generations. She could keep the spirit of the phoenix alive. Elara built a small temple in the village. It was a place where people could come to learn and heal. She decorated it with images of the phoenix. She told stories of rebirth and hope. The temple became the heart of the village. It was a reminder of the magic that existed in the world and in each person's heart. Section 10, Hope Spreads Through the Land. Word of Elara and her powers spread beyond the village. People came from far and wide to see her. They brought their sick and injured for healing. But they also came to hear her stories and learn from her wisdom. Elara welcomed them all with open arms. She never turned anyone away who needed help. Other villages began to change too. Inspired by Elara's example, people everywhere started being kinder to each other. They remembered old stories of magic and wonder. They looked for the good in the world instead of the bad. Slowly but surely, the whole land became brighter and more hopeful. Elara sometimes transformed into her phoenix form and flew over the land. She loved seeing the changes from above. Forests that had been cut down were replanted. Rivers that had been polluted ran clear again. People worked together to make their homes better places to live. It filled Elara's heart with joy. As the years passed, Elara became known as the Phoenix Guardian. She was a living legend, a symbol of hope and renewal. Children grew up hearing stories about her. They learned that one person's courage and love could change the world. Elara's example inspired countless others to be heroes in their own ways. Section 11, The Legacy of the Phoenix Guardian. Many, many years passed. Elara watched generations come and go. She saw her village grow into a city. The world changed in ways she could never have imagined. But through it all, Elara remained. She was a constant source of wisdom and healing. Her story was told and retold, keeping the spirit of the phoenix alive. Elara never forgot her humble beginnings. She often thought of that scared girl who had entered the forest so long ago. She was proud of how far she had come. But she was even prouder of how she had helped others. Elara knew that her greatest power wasn't healing or flying. It was her ability to inspire hope in others. As time went on, Elara began to feel the call of the phoenix again. She knew that someday, she too would have to be reborn. But she wasn't sad. She had lived a long and wonderful life. She had helped so many people, and she knew that her spirit would live on in the hearts of all those she had touched. Elara's legacy was not just in the people she healed or the village she protected. It was in the way she had changed the world, one kind act at a time. She had shown people the power of love, sacrifice, and renewal. And as long as people remembered her story, the phoenix would never truly be forgotten. The cycle of hope and rebirth would continue, forever and always.